Durk name that came up again? Oh, hell no.
Nigga kill over a bitch, but let a rat keep his life.
So listen, yeah, this Young Thug case, this RICO case, we know that. Brian Steele, you took an L today. You was doing good, you was doing all you could do. Y'all hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I'm just trying to beat the odds that you can help me. They say, Boogie, where you been? I've been in my skin. If I had your hands, I wouldn't use mine again. No 2 days the same. So look, Durk name just keep coming up. It came up in the O Block situation. Duh. His name just come up. Every time somebody go to court, it's a murder, a RICO, anything. His name just been coming up a lot. Like Butter name. You know. And Butter say Durk name came up a lot in that O Block situation. Everybody says his name came up a lot, but this Young Thug case, his name is up again. Durk, a RICO is coming. For sure, for sure. It's coming. You thought you told your way out of that Vine situation. And you think that nobody know. We know. And you thought you weren't going to have to deal with nothing else. Who else you gonna tell on now? How you gonna, cause it's coming. It's definitely coming. But yeah, Brian Steele, he a good lawyer. He working with what he got. But it's a lot against the, let's get into this video.
Potential violations of the Street Gang Act.
I could have been part of that RICO. I called Thug and told him every nigga I shot.
I love Thug. He told me not to tell nobody.
That's the same thing he said.
That's how you know he won't snitch. That's how you know he won't snitch on each other.
And also in that line of question, not on this exhibit, but on another exhibit, Mr. Steele asked you about Pee Wee Longway. Do you recall that?
I do.
And he asked you if he was an artist or if Mr. Williams had worked with that individual as an artist. Do you remember that?
I do.
And you also said along with Pee Wee Longway that he was an artist among other things. Do you remember that?
I do.
Why did you say that?
He's also been identified as a gang member.
Okay.
I assume there's a Crip thing going on. Blue seems to be very prominent.
It's nice color, my boy. Yeah.
No cripping going on.
No, nothing.
Testified last week that you knew that some of the tweets that you testified to on direct examination with the prosecution, you knew them to be lyrics from songs. Remember that?
No, I believe I testified that I believed some of them to be lyrics from songs, or that I didn't dispute your assertion that they were lyrics from songs.
Okay. And you said that the reason you did not mention that on direct examination is because you were not asked. Do you remember that?
I don't recall that, but no, I wouldn't have made statements that I wasn't asked.
Why wouldn't you correct and say this tweet may be or is from a song, even if not asked by the prosecution? Why wouldn't you tell the jurors?
Well, I can't answer things that aren't asked by the prosecution under direct examination.
On Mr. Williams number 70, I did not ask you about that image. You brought that up and said, there's anything else I want to say.
Well, to your point, you brought this image up. I did not. The state did not. You brought this image up, and you asked for context around these images and around these tweets. What I wanted to share with the jury was that it was of note to us when we saw this, given context outside of just what was happening on Twitter or on an album cover at that time. I don't believe that I said Mr. Williams' name, and that was the extent of my testimony to this, given that context around this. When I was under direct examination, I wasn't asked to give context for any of the tweets that I read into the record. And to the extent that I would have been asked, it is not uncommon or unusual for someone to quote a lyric, a movie line, a poem, or anything else to express a sentiment. And using a song lyric for that doesn't change that that's how people use lyrics regardless.
You testified about the hybrid gang YSL, remember that?
I do.
And you talked about in your initial appearance before this jury in November of 2023, the color red. Do you remember that with YSL?
I did.
And then when I came and noted all these different colors that Mr. Williams wears, including the color blue, you said, well, he can do that. Remember that?
I don't think that's exactly the way that went, but yes, I did certainly clarify the way that gangs represent their colors.
You talked about that someone with YSL who's alleged blood affiliate, if it's a hybrid gang, would not like to use or would change the letter C. Remember that type of testimony?
As rough as that translation of it is, yes.
Okay. And yet, when I asked you about Jeffrey Williams' album covers, songs and albums, statements that he used the letter C, you said, well, he can do that. Remember that?
I don't remember us discussing that.
Well, that's true, right?
I'm sorry, I wasn't finished with my answer. I don't remember discussing that, but like any other identifier you see with a gang, there's not going to be 100% usage or non-usage of any given identifier. What I found in my experience and what the research has found across several decades is that gangs have rules, and as ardent as they may appear to be about their rules, some rules are loosely enforced. That's not just here, that's in Chicago.
Look at Thug sitting there. He liking what his lawyer doing. Thug sitting there like, you know what I'm saying? Like he looking like, my lawyer, he up one. Okay, we working. I feel you, Thug. You like, fight. He fighting, Thug. He fighting.
Some research out of Chicago, research out of Los Angeles as well. Additionally, Atlanta is unique in that we did not have these traditional gangs here for many decades after much of the country actually had an influx of traditional style gangs. So many people have friendships or relationships that predated their association with a traditional gang. So in Atlanta specifically, this is not unusual for us to see someone affiliated with a blood set, still associating with or having friendship or working with musically, someone who's associated with a Crip set.
Your knowledge-training experience, what came first, YSL the gang or YSL the label?
No, YSL the gang.
Now, on cross-examination, they asked you specifically about whether or not athletes, maybe even other individuals have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I believe Mr. Steele may have asked you specifically about LeBron James. Do you remember that?
I do.
To your knowledge, has LeBron James ever committed any crimes in Fulton County?
Not to my knowledge, no.
To your knowledge, has LeBron James committed any crimes in furtherance of the gang YSL in Fulton County, Georgia?
None that I'm aware of.
I believe that he also asked you about Serena Williams. Do you remember that?
He did.
Has Serena Williams ever committed any crimes in Fulton County, Georgia?
None that I'm aware of.
And has she committed any crimes in furtherance of any Crip set in Fulton County, Georgia?
None that I'm aware of.
And have either of those individuals ever been associated with being in a gang?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yo, man, of all this sex money mercy that's going on this set. I mean, I'm being doing it.
Did you hear, was that Mr. Williams?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And did you hear him say, I'm the BEO of all this?
I did.
Have you heard that term BEO prior to this video?
I have.
Okay. And in your knowledge experience, what is BEO?
BEO is another example of replacing the letter C with the letter B. So what they're saying is CEO, but they're saying BEO so as not to use the letter C.
And was it BEO this SMM shit?
Yes, that's correct.
And this is not a music video?
It is not.